Alright, video 2 of Module 6, Lesson 1, and continuing with our coordinate system. As you can see here, it is a horizontal number line, and it has a coordinate system, and it has tick marks, and our tick marks are showing us all the numbers up to 10. We're skipping a couple, but we have tick marks for those. We just don't have numbers, and we have letters T, S, W, U, and V, and we're going to talk a little bit about these. What is the point closest to 0? Do you see letter T is the point closest to 0, and its coordinate is 3. How many units from 0 is point U? And you can see 8. You can also count, making sure that you're counting the tick marks. You can count up to 8. Very good. What is the distance in units between T and U? So not only can we tell the distance from 0, but we can also tell the distance between 2 points. So T is 3 and U is 8, so that would be 5, but we can double check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. And what is the coordinate of point V? 9. Between 8 and 10, we can see that it is 9, whether it was labeled or not labeled, right? Point S is halfway between 4 and 5, so we could say it is 4.5. It might be an estimate if we don't know exactly this exact place, so we could estimate 4.5. And then we can look at the distance between S and W. Since S is at 4.5, we see that it's 1.5, so we do have to continue thinking about fractions sometimes here. All right, and where would you put point M at coordinate 2? Could you add point M to coordinate 2? Yeah, that would be right there. And point N at 0, can add that on right there. P, so its distance from 0 is 5. So we would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we could put a P there, and it needs a point. Oh, we need a point for our N and our M as well. Okay. Q, 2 units closer to 0 than V is to 0. So V is 9. So 2 units closer would be here. So that would be Q. And R, halfway between N and T. N and T. So N is 0 and T is 3. So half of that would be 1.5. And that is point R. Okay? You're starting to see how coordinate systems work. And this is a horizontal number line. Now let's look at another vertical number line. All right, vertical number line, coordinate system, has points on the line, has whole numbers labeled 0, 1, and 2, but the values between them are not yet labeled, right? And what about interval length? Remember that the interval is the space between the tick marks, right? So our interval length is how long is the space between the tick marks. Sometimes you'll hear interval, sometimes you'll hear interval length. All right, so looking at this, do we have some ideas about our interval? If this is 0 and this is 1, you getting the idea that our interval is going to be a fraction? Yes. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So that means that each interval length is 1/4 of a unit. Depends on whether you're using inches, centimeters, kilometers. It's 1/4 of the unit, right? Okay, name the point that has the coordinate 1/4. What is its distance from 0? J is 1/4, and its distance from 0 is 1/4 unit. If we start at 0 and travel along the line for a distance of 1 3/4 unit, at what point will we stop? So let's look for 1 3/4, 1, 2, 3, that will be point M, right? 1 3/4. How about point K? What coordinate is point K? 1. Very good. And how many units further from 0 is point L than point K? Okay, how many units farther from 0? So L is 1/4 of a unit farther. Okay, so be careful to know whether you're working in fractions or whole numbers when you're looking at your coordinates. Okay, let's find point E. So its distance from 0 is 2 units. Yep, point E would be right there. Point F at 0. Sorry, I forgot to add my points on there. And point G, that has the coordinate of 1.5. Okay, so point G, 1.5, and 1 5/10 would be a better way to say that, right? And so that's the same as 1 1/2. So 1, 1/4, 2/4 is the same as a half, right? So this is 1 1/2, and that is point G. Okay, that one was a little tricky. And H, 1/4 of a unit closer to 0 than K. So H is going to be 1/4 of a unit closer. So that would be H, and that would be at 1 3/4. Okay, got it? All right. So we're working on coordinate number lines, right? Why is a coordinate line on why is a coordinate system on a line useful? It's helping us to label our points on a line so we can talk about the distances they are from each other and the distance they are from 0. And why is it important to remember? What is important to remember when constructing a coordinate system? Tick marks, equally spaced, tick mark as 0, interval length between tick marks, label every tick marks. We don't have to label every tick mark, but it sometimes helps you to see what the tick marks are, depending on your spacing, right? You might not have space to put every number in there, but you need to know the interval. When a line has a coordinate system, how do you identify the coordinate of a point on the line? We determine the number of units the point is from 0 to know its coordinate, right? So 1 from 0 would be the coordinate of 1. All right, thanks everybody. That was lesson 1. I'll see you in the next video for lesson 2. So this lesson only had 2 videos. All right, thanks everybody for your hard work. Aloha.